Well, Jim, it's extraordinary news. We have the squad here. The FA put this out on the dot at 5 p.m, so we haven't got any advance warning at all. And I can tell you that all four of the right-backs we've just been discussing are in. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier and Reece James. He's gone with 4 right-backs in a squad of 26, which is absolutely extraordinary. We wondered about Harry Mcguire, didn't we? Harry Mcguire is in this squad, despite the fact that he's been carrying that serious ankle ligament injury that kept him out of Manchester United's Europa League final. Bukayo Saka is in there as well. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to read the squad to you so that you can be aware of exactly what we're talking about until we can get it in pictorial form on the screen for you. The 3 goalkeepers, Dean Henderson, Sam Johnston and Jordan Pickford. So that's Sam Johnston ahead of Aaron Ramsdale, who was one of the 4. Trent Alexander-Arnold, we told you about at 3:15 on Sky Sports News. He's in, as is Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier and Reece James. There's Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw, the 2 left-backs. We've got Connor Cody, we've got Tyrone Mings, and we've got Harry Mcguire as 3 centre-backs. Now, that's not many centre-backs, Jess. That is clearly because he knows that Reece James and Kyle Walker can cover for them there if they need to in a back 3. In the midfield, Jude Bellingham, a 17-year-old, a teenager, makes the Euro squad. Alongside Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. We expected all those to be in. Up front, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling. So, Jess, sum that up for us. What do you make of all of that?
That's incredible. It's interesting to see that Harry Mcguire has made the squad, although we did expect that because of the leadership qualities he's bringing, how paramount he's been to England's success. Jordan Henderson, again, another player that was questioned because of his fitness, because we weren't sure how many minutes he'd played since February. We saw him training for the first time, didn't we, today at 11 o'clock on Sky Sports News. He looked to be loose. He looked like he was enjoying himself. So he is in the squad. And that will be great for England on and off the pitch because Jordan Henderson is known as a leader within this England side. No Jesse Lingard.
We expected no Jesse Lingard.
We did expect that. We did say that. We told you that earlier on Sky Sports News. So it leaves the way for the impressive attacking options of Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, who have both played exceptionally well for their clubs, and Jadon Sancho as well, Rob, who's had a brilliant time over in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, listen, I think it's an extraordinary squad. It's actually gone off my screen now, so Jess, I don't know if we can socially distance past that to me so I can have a quick look, if that's okay, because this is breaking news on Sky Sports News as we have it right now speaking to you. Connor Cody and Tyrone Mings make it as centre-backs. We wondered whether that would be the case, didn't we? And I suppose the interesting one is there's no mention here about a standby list. We expect Gareth Southgate to have a standby list, but he's clearly not made it public. That will be to cover for Harry Mcguire if he can't prove his fitness in the next week. We expect him to join up with England on Wednesday, but he won't take part, as will none of the Manchester United players, in that first of 2 pre-tournament friendlies, if you like, against Austria at the Riverside Stadium just down the road. But the headlines, as we've discussed, Trent Alexander-Arnold in. Harry Mcguire in, 4 world-class right-backs in, and they're all classed as defenders, by the way, so we wait to see what happens there. I think the really interesting thing, Jess, here as well, is that there aren't many midfielders in there. We know that there's versatility in this squad, but only Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. 5 midfielders for an entire tournament. Clearly Southgate thinks that they can be covered elsewhere. Well,
exactly, but as we heard from Gareth Southgate a little bit earlier, we heard, didn't we, that he thinks Trent Alexander-Arnold can play in midfield, likes to see him in midfield. It's a position that Alexander-Arnold played as a youngster. So interesting to see where exactly Alexander-Arnold will fit into this England team, considering he's now got 4 world-class right-backs in that team.
Yeah, and we look at the players that have missed out. We expected Ben White and Ben Godfrey, the 2 centre-backs who were called up for this provisional squad, I think as cover for Harry Mcguire. They have been cut from the squad. You'd expect that as well. James Ward-Prowse and Jesse Lingard, we've been talking about them all day, haven't we? And yes, they miss out as well. But Jess, we've been talking about Ollie Watkins, haven't we?
Yes.
It's a name we didn't see on that list. Yes. It took us a while to find it. We were looking for it. It's not there. Mason Greenwood, we knew missed out, and we thought that might go with another striking option in Ollie Watkins. But no, the Aston Villa striker who scored on his debut in March, having been called up in the last squad, misses out. And there are very few out-and-out central strikers now. So we've got Harry Kane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the only natural centre-forwards. Clearly, Southgate thinks he's got enough cover with Raheem Sterling, with Marcus Rashford, who can play in those positions, and has decided instead to backload the squad in terms of defenders.
Yes, and what it seems to me is that Gareth Southgate wants to use the players' versatility. He likes the fact that he's got players that can play in multiple positions, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, perhaps like Raheem Sterling, and perhaps that will give him more options when he's playing in tournament football and going against so many different teams.
Jim, we'll hear from Gareth Southgate. So many questions to ask him in that news conference at 6 p.m. We'll bring that to you live on Sky Sports News, but we're still digesting this squad as it came through, and there's some real headlines in there, aren't there?